A doctor told me I likely have about a week left. He didn't say it cruelly, he said it gently, the way you speak to someone who has already lived a full life, the way you speak when there's nothing left to fix. 96 years is a long time, but when someone tells you there are only 7 days left, it suddenly feels very short. I'm not angry. I'm not afraid. If anything, I feel clear. Clear in a way I've never felt before. At 96 years old, I finally understand life, just as it's slipping through my fingers. If I could live again, I would live differently. You don't really understand the value of time until you can count how little you have left. I was a teenager in the 1960s. Back then, the world felt loud and alive. My mother kept a small radio on the kitchen counter. Every morning it played songs from the Beatles and Elvis Presley, while sunlight came through yellow curtains. The coffee always smelled too strong. My father read the newspaper like it contained secrets to the universe. I thought I had forever. That's what youth feels like. Endless. I remember walking down Main Street in 1964, collar turned up, hands in my pockets, feeling like the future was something I could casually step into whenever I pleased. I fell in love at 19. She had a laugh that made me feel chosen. We would sit in her father's old Chevrolet and talk about the future as if it were guaranteed. We made plans the way young people do, without urgency. I was confident, too confident. When older people gave advice, I listened politely and ignored most of it. I thought time was patient. I thought there would always be another Sunday dinner, another birthday, another chance to apologize. When you're young, you think time is patient. It isn't. I worked hard in my 20s and 30s, harder than I needed to. In the late 1960s, I got my first serious job. It felt important. I felt important. Providing for my family became my identity. There's nothing wrong with hard work, but I confused being busy with being valuable. I missed my son's first school play because I had a meeting I believed couldn't wait. It could have waited. I told myself I'd make it to the next one. I don't remember the meeting. I remember the look on his face when I told him I couldn't come. That's the strange thing about memory. It keeps what hurts. I regret how often I said, "Not now. Not now, I'm tired. Not now, I'm working. Not now, maybe next week." Next week becomes next year. Next year becomes never. There's one moment I think about often. It was 1968. She and I had an argument, a small one really, about money, about priorities, about who was sacrificing more. Pride filled the room faster than the words did. She asked me to stay and talk. I walked out. I remember the slam of the screen door. The sound still echoes in my mind. I drove around for hours, convincing myself I was right. I believed there would always be time to fix it. And we did fix it, in some ways. We stayed together. We raised children. We shared decades. But something changed that night. A small crack. Unspoken words stack up over the years. You think they disappear. They don't. They settle. I was wrong about many things, but I was most wrong about time. I held grudges longer than I should have. A friend borrowed money and didn't repay me. I let that distance grow into silence. 20 years of silence. 20 years over something that now I can't even remember the exact amount of. He died before we spoke again. Do you know what pride feels like at 96? Heavy, completely useless. I thought being right mattered. It doesn't. Not at the end. The hospital room is quiet at night, quieter than a house ever is. There's a soft hum from the machines, a faint beep every few seconds. The hallway lights never fully turn off. It's always dim, never dark. Sometimes a nurse adjusts a blanket and smiles kindly. I look at my hands. They're thinner now. Veins like small blue rivers under fragile skin. On the table beside me are photographs, faded ones from the 1960s, black and white, hair thicker, smiles wider, futures unwritten. I don't think about the money I earned. I don't think about the promotions. I don't think about who respected me or who didn't. I think about the time I taught my daughter to ride a bicycle and how she kept looking back to make sure I was still there. I think about the first time my wife squeezed my hand in a crowded room. I think about laughter at the dinner table. In the end, nobody asks how busy you were. Life isn't measured in years. It's measured in moments you were fully present. I used to believe strength meant not showing emotion. I didn't say, "I love you" enough. Not because I didn't feel it, because I assumed they knew. Don't assume people know. Say it. Say it even if your voice shakes, especially then. There is no award for silent love. There is only regret. When you get to my age, your world becomes smaller, fewer friends, fewer conversations, more memories than plans. And in that quiet, you start sorting through your life like old letters in a box. You realize most of what stressed you didn't matter. The arguments about trivial things, the nights you stayed late at work instead of going home, the times you chose pride over peace. They shrink. What expands are the moments you were kind, the times you forgave, the risks you took for love, the afternoons you sat on the floor and played instead of checking the clock. I don't tell you these things to make you sad. I tell you because you still have time. You might think you have decades. Maybe you do, but none of you know the number. I didn't either. Call your parents. If they're gone, forgive them in your heart. Call your children, even if the conversation feels awkward. Apologize first. Forgive first. Put the phone down at dinner. Look at the person across from you like they matter, because they do. Stop waiting for the right time to take that trip, to say that sentence, to mend that relationship. The right time is rarely convenient. It's just necessary. Don't wait until your world becomes quiet to realize what mattered. At 96, I am not afraid of dying. I am afraid of wasted time. I am grateful too. Grateful I loved it all. Grateful I held my grandchildren. Grateful for ordinary Tuesdays I once overlooked. If I could live again, I would choose presence over pressure. I would choose connection over ego. I would choose to sit longer at the table. I would say, "I'm sorry," faster. I would say, "I love you," louder. I would leave work early more often. I would hold hands without worrying who was watching. I would understand that being right is far less important than being kind. There is a clock on the wall in this room. It ticks softly. I used to hate that sound. Now I listen to it like it's a teacher. Each tick is a reminder. You are here. Now. That is the gift. Not tomorrow. Not someday. Now. If you had 1 week left, who would you call tonight? If you were 96, lying where I am, what would you wish you had done differently? What conversation are you postponing? What forgiveness are you withholding? What dream are you delaying because you think there's time? There might be, but there might not. I had 96 years, and it still feels like I blinked. Don't waste what I no longer have.